most of them lose the baby also because they delay in labor for something like 2, 3, 4, or even 1 week. So by the time they are getting into the nearby health center, they are pushing them now in the hospital, the baby have died.
Medina is one of the lucky ones. Suffering birthing difficulties, she made it to the hospital just in time for a C-section. The 16-year-old's life had hung in the balance as AMISOM doctors fought to save her and her unborn baby. I asked where the father of the baby was. It soon became apparent that the answer was complicated and again linked to Al-Shabaab. When I asked if she had named the baby, Medina told me that she hadn't, and suggested instead that perhaps she could name the baby after me.
What's your name?
She told me that Somalia is a bad place and thought I would bring luck to her child by blessing it with my name. I joined Dr. Mukier as they prepare Abdi for his scan to find out if the lumps on his throat are cancerous. In the ultrasound room, I come across a lady I had seen earlier at the hospital entrance. I'd assumed at the time that the woman had been pregnant and suffering from contractions, yet the stark reality is a very different story.
This lady has what we call a hematoma. It's a cancer which affects the liver because the liver was infected by cirrhosis. It's always caused by alcohol. Alcohol in other countries, but in countries like here where people don't drink alcohol, it is mainly by hepatitis. The prognosis is poor. It's poor. Prognosis is very poor.
Thankfully for Abdi, the prognosis is much better.
I think those are lymph nodes that have enlarged due to the infection.
With the news that cancer is not present, Abdi heads back to the ward. Dr. Mukiye, after reviewing Abdi's test results, gives the go-ahead for surgery, a procedure which will remove the dead tissue from Abdi's mouth.
Since they were giving a duration of 3 months, I was really thinking it can be cancer, but given the history, it really points towards Al-Shabaab cutting off the anterior bit of the tongue. Tomorrow we need to go for the dry instead.
I leave Abdi and the doctor at the ward, as I have been asked to go back to see the boy I had met earlier. It seems the doctors have some information on the case. The doctors tell me that this boy has told them he was recruited by Al-Shabaab. He is a child soldier. I look at him and see a kid, a child, a boy doing what he had to do in order to survive.
They were teaching him.
His wounds, he tells the doctors, were inflicted upon him by his religious teacher. The depths these groups go to recruit for their cause know no bounds.
He said all this is once.
Once?
These were meted unto him by someone he calls his teacher, who was teaching him how to read the Quran. Those are the famous fighters of the forces opposed to the peace process. And we have repeatedly said this, that these are not people who are voluntarily joining, as it were, a struggle, a jihad, but rather destitute, disadvantaged people who are just picked and used by those violent armed groups.